Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to reset your life. I need you to hear me today because this moment is a pivotal one. There's a divine power, a shift happening right now, and I need you to embrace it with everything you've got. You've been through the storms, you faced the battles, and you've been tested, but you are still here, you are standing, and if you're still standing, that means the story isn't over. It's just beginning. I know the weight you've been carrying. I know the days when it felt like the world was heavy on your shoulders and your steps were slow. But let me tell you something, the heaviness is not a reflection of who you are. It's a sign of what you are about to become. You've been carrying burdens, yes, but those burdens are preparing you for a new season. Your journey has not been in vain. It's been a training ground for something greater. Today is the day you step into reset. Today is the day you get rid of the old mindsets, the old doubts, the old limitations that have held you captive for far too long. It's time to stop looking back at what didn't work, at what's been lost, at what's broken. Let go of the past. You can't keep your eyes on the rearview mirror and expect to move forward with clarity. It's time to reset, to reclaim your focus, your purpose, your future. I'm talking about a fresh start, but not just in the way you think. It's not just about a change of circumstances. It's about a change in the way you see yourself. You are not defined by your past mistakes. You are not bound by your failures. You are not the things that have happened to you. You are the strength that rises from them. It's in you right now. The strength, the power, the ability to reset. You have everything you need within you to take that first step, to move forward in faith. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need to wait for the perfect conditions. The time to reset is right now. Don't wait until everything falls into place. Don't wait for the stars to align. Take the step, even if it's shaky, even if you don't have it all figured out. Because here's the thing, the first step is always the hardest, but once you make it, momentum will build and things will begin to align in ways you can't even imagine. You are not too old. You are not too young. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. Today is the day you declare that your past will not dictate your future. Your future is bright. Your future is full of purpose. Your future is full of promise. But you have to reset your mind, reset your heart, reset your soul. Don't allow fear to stand in your way. Don't allow doubt to keep you stuck in the past. You've got something inside you that the world needs. It's time for that gift, that dream, that purpose to rise to the surface. It's time to reset your life and walk in the fullness of who you were created to be. There are new opportunities on the horizon, new doors ready to open, new relationships waiting to be built. But it all starts with you making the decision right now to reset. You don't need permission from anyone else. The only permission you need is the one you give yourself to say, I am enough, I am worthy, I am ready. You are ready to reset your life. You are ready to move forward. You are ready to step into your purpose. So get up, take that first step, reset your life today. There's a quiet power that you may not even realize is within you, a strength built on the foundation of every struggle, every disappointment, every setback you've endured. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on this. You are still standing. You made it through every storm, every trial, every battle, and you are here today stronger than you realize. You may have felt the weight of the world pressing against you, but here you are, still breathing, still moving, and still capable of greatness. You need to understand that the very fact you're still standing means that there's something inside you that refuses to give up. You've been tested, you've been broken at times, and you've been forced to walk through some of the darkest valleys, but your ability to rise above it all is not by accident. There's a divine strength working within you, a strength that is forged in the fire, a strength that only emerges when you've been tried and tested. But here's the truth, you might not have even recognized this strength in you. You may have felt defeated by the weight of your circumstances. Maybe you've been asking yourself, why me, or when will it end? But that very question is a sign that something in you knows you're meant for more. The fact that you're still standing means you have the capacity to rise again, no matter how many times you've fallen. Every setback you've experienced has been a lesson, every challenge a teacher, every struggle a stepping stone to your breakthrough. You have been molded by these moments, and if you can begin to see them for what they truly are, tools for your transformation, then you will understand that you were never meant to stay in your brokenness. It's easy to look at your life and feel like everything is stacked against you. You look at the circumstances, the failures, the hard taches, and you think, why hasn't anything worked out for me? But that's not the whole story. The story is still being written, and you are the author. You are the one who has the final say on how this chapter unfolds. It's easy to get stuck in the pain of the moment, but you cannot allow that pain to define you. You cannot let it have the final word over your life. The greatest tragedy is not that you've suffered, it's that you allow that suffering to make you believe that you are less than you are. But I want to tell you today, you are so much more than the struggles you faced. When life knocks you down, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a failure. It simply reveals the strength that was always there, hidden beneath the surface. There is an indomitable within you, a resolve that refuses to quit, even when the world tells you to give up. When you were tempted to give in, when you were ready to throw in the towel, there was something deep within you that kept you going. That, my friend, is the strength I'm talking about. That strength is not measured by how perfect your life looks on the outside, but by how you've overcome the challenges you faced on the inside. There are days when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. The demands, the pressures, the expectations, everything feels like it's pulling you in different directions. You may feel overwhelmed by the responsibility of trying to meet everyone else's needs, trying to be everything to everyone, while your own needs are left unmet. You may feel like you're carrying burdens that are too heavy to bear. And that's when the doubt begins to creep in. But let me remind you of this. You are built for this moment. You were created for this. The strength you have isn't the kind of strength that avoids challenges. It's the kind that rises to meet them head on, that says, no matter how heavy the burden, no matter how fierce the storm, I will not be moved. I will not be shaken. The world may not always recognize your struggle, but that's because they don't see what's happening on the inside. They don't see the quiet battles you fight every day. They don't see the tears you've shed in the silence of your own heart. But what they don't see is irrelevant. What matters is what God sees, what you see, and what you are capable of doing. Your strength is not for show, it's for survival. It's for rising up when the world tells you to stay down. It's for pushing through when everyone around you has counted you out. It's for achieving the impossible because you refuse to believe that you are powerless. And I need you to hear me when I say this. This strength is not just for the moments when everything is easy. This strength is most visible in the moments when life is hard. When you feel like you're at the end of your rope and there's no way out, that's when the true depth of your resilience shines through. It's in the struggle that you discover just how much you're really capable of. Your strength is not just for surviving, it's for thriving. It's for showing up every day no matter what. It's for getting up after every fall. It's for believing in your purpose, even when you can't see the road ahead. So the next time you find yourself questioning your worth or feeling like you can't go on, remember this: you are stronger than you think. The same power that has carried you this far is still with you. The same resilience that has kept you going through the darkest days is still alive in your spirit. You were built for this. And if you could just tap into that strength, if you can just believe in the power that's within you, then you'll find that nothing in this world can stop you. Nothing can hold you back. The victory is already yours because the strength that resides within you is unstoppable. You've been holding on for a long time, trying to make sense of the chaos, trying to navigate through a world that sometimes feels like it's working against you. You've walked through days of confusion, nights of sleeplessness, and seasons of frustration. You've faced rejection, endured loss, and carried burdens that you never thought you could bear. And yet, here you are, standing. Despite everything life has thrown at you, you are still standing. And if you are still standing, that means your story isn't over. It's not finished, it's just beginning. You may look at your life and see all the broken pieces, the dreams that haven't come to fruition, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, the relationships that fell apart. It's easy to focus on what went wrong, to count the mistakes, to measure your worth by the things that didn't go as planned. But I want to shift your perspective today. What if I told you that everything you've been through, every pain you've experienced, and every tear you've shed has been a building block for your future? What if I told you that these moments of struggle are not meant to break you, but to strengthen you, to refine you, and to prepare you for something greater? The truth is, every challenge you've faced has been a test, a proving ground for the strength that you carry inside of you. You see, strength isn't built in the easy moments. It's not forged in comfort, in success, or in the smooth days when everything seems to fall into place. No, true strength is born in the struggle. It's formed in the trials and the moments when you feel like giving up, when you feel like the weight of the world is just too much to bear. But despite those feelings, you pushed through. You kept moving forward, one step at a time, even when you didn't know where the next step would lead. And that is what strength looks like. If you're still standing, that means you have already overcome so much. You've faced adversity, and you've come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more resilient. But here's the most important part. You don't always see your own strength. Sometimes it's only after you've made it through the storm that you realize just how powerful you are. You may not have felt strong in the moment. You may not have recognized the depth of your resilience while you were in the midst of the battle. But now, looking back, you see it. You see how you survived when you didn't think you could. You see how you held it together when everything inside of you wanted to fall apart. You are not weak because you've been through tough times. You are strong because you have endured them. The strength to stand, the strength to rise again after each setback, the strength to keep believing even when everything around you is telling you to give up, that's the kind of strength I'm talking about. And this strength is not some fleeting feeling that disappears when life gets hard. This strength is built on a deep, unshakable foundation. It's built on your willingness to show up every single day, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it hurts, even when you don't see the results right away. That is the kind of strength that will carry you through anything. You've been through pain. You've been through heartache. You've been through rejection. But none of those things define you. What defines you is your ability to rise. What defines you is your ability to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. What defines you is your capacity to keep your head up and keep walking forward, even when it feels like the world is trying to hold you back. And I need you to understand something, that strength is not accidental. It's not a coincidence. That strength is purposeful. That strength is a gift. And that strength is inside of you right now. You may be tempted to believe that your strength is based on your circumstances, that if only things were easier, if only you didn't have to face so many struggles, you'd be able to do more, to be more. But that's not true. Your strength is not determined by your circumstances, it's determined by your willingness to keep going no matter what. You are not defined by your circumstances, by your past, by your failures, or by your disappointments. You are defined by your ability to rise, and every time you rise, you reveal just how strong you really are. There's something about struggle that brings out the best in you. When life knocks you down, when it feels like everything is falling apart, there's a part of you that is able to rise to the occasion. You might not feel like it at first. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel like you've reached the end of your rope. But when you dig deep, when you refuse to let your circumstances dictate your future, you find a well of strength within you that you didn't even know was there. It's the kind of strength that surprises you. It's the kind of strength that can carry you through the darkest of times. And I need you to know this, you are not alone in this. You are not walking through this struggle by yourself. There is a force within you, a power that is bigger than your pain, a strength that is greater than your fear. It's a strength that is there to lift you up when you can't lift yourself. It's a strength that is there to remind you that no matter how hard life gets, you are never without help. And if you will lean into that strength, if you will trust in it, you will find that there is nothing that can hold you down. You may not have the answers right now. You may not see the way forward. But what I can tell you with certainty is this: you have everything you need to move forward within you. You are not too weak. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are exactly where you need to be, and you have the strength to take the next step. And if you just keep going, just keep pushing forward, you will see that your strength will carry you farther than you ever imagined. You've been through some things, haven't you? There have been moments when life felt like it was crumbling beneath you, like everything was falling apart, and you were left standing in the rubble, unsure of where to go next. But here you are, still standing. And that's the key. You didn't give up. Despite everything, despite the trials, despite the pain, you're still here. And that alone speaks volumes about your strength, about your resilience. You might not always feel like it, but that's the truth. The simple fact that you are still standing is a testimony to the inner power you carry, a power that has been there all along, even when you couldn't see it. I want you to think for a moment about how many times you felt like giving up, like the weight of the world was simply too much to bear. I want you to remember those moments when you thought to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I'm not strong enough. I'm not cut out for this. It might have been a job that drained you, a relationship that broke you, a failure that crushed your spirit. It might have been a loss that left you feeling empty, or a dream that slipped through your fingers like sand. You've had your moments of doubt, your moments of frustration, your moments when you didn't think you could make it another day. But I'm telling you now, you made it, you kept going, you pushed through when it felt impossible. You held on when everything inside of you told you to let go. That's what strength looks like. Strength isn't just about being tough or invincible, it's about continuing to move forward, even when you feel weak, even when you feel like you can't take another step. Strength is about finding the courage to rise, not because everything is perfect, but because you know you're capable of more than you realize. It's not in the easy moments that you discover your true strength, but in the hard ones. It's in those moments of trial, when everything around you seems to be falling apart, that you find out who you really are. And the truth is, you are stronger than you think. There's an incredible power inside of you. A strength that has been forged in the fire of every hardship, every setback, and every struggle. It's the kind of strength that doesn't show up in the moment of victory, but in the moment of vulnerability. It's the strength to show up when you don't feel like it. It's the strength to get back up after you've been knocked down. It's the strength to keep believing even when it feels like all hope is gone. This strength doesn't come from external circumstances, it comes from within you. It's a resilience that is built through perseverance, through grit, through a refusal to quit. When you're in the midst of the storm, it can be hard to see that strength. It can feel like everything is working against you, like you're stuck in a cycle of failure, disappointment, and defeat. But I need you to remember something: the storm does not define you. The pain does not define you. The setbacks do not define you. Your true identity is not found in your circumstances, but in your ability to rise above them. You may feel weak at times, but your strength is not based on your feelings. It's based on the truth of who you are and what you are capable of. You are stronger than you realize. You are not the sum of your failures, your mistakes, or your disappointments. You are not defined by the things that have happened to you or the things that you've lost. You are defined by your ability to rise above those things, by your ability to press on when everything around you says to stop. The world may not always see the strength you carry, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you see it. What matters is that you recognize the power inside of you and refuse to let anything or anyone take that from you. You are not weak. You are not fragile. You are unbreakable. But here's the thing: strength isn't always about being outwardly strong. Sometimes it's about being humble enough to admit that you need help, to lean on others when you feel weak. Sometimes strength is about having the courage to face your fears, to ask for support, to accept that you don't have to carry everything on your own. That's a strength that's often overlooked, but it's just as important as the strength to stand alone. There's a balance in recognizing both your power and your vulnerability, in knowing when to push forward and when to pause, when to be brave enough to admit that you can't do it all yourself. It's in that balance that true strength is found. You have been through a lot. You've experienced pain that no one could understand, struggles that seemed insurmountable, and obstacles that tried to keep you from moving forward. But none of those things have defeated you. They have only refined you, sharpened you, and made you more resilient than you were before. You may have stumbled along the way, but you never stayed down. You may have been knocked down, but you never stayed down. You got up, dusted yourself off, and kept moving forward. And that is the essence of strength. And here's what I want you to understand: the strength you have is not just for surviving, it's for thriving. It's for overcoming the things that have tried to hold you back, the things that have tried to define you. It's for taking what you've been through and using it as a platform to rise even higher. It's for moving forward with purpose, with confidence, with the knowledge that nothing in this world can keep you down for long. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your perseverance. You are a product of your resilience. And that resilience is what will carry you through every challenge you face from here on out. You are not weak because you've had to struggle. You are not broken because you've been tested. You are strong and you have the power within you to keep going, to keep rising, to keep thriving. Your strength is not just something you carry, it's something that carries you. So when life knocks you down again, and it will remember that the same strength that has kept you standing this far will be the strength that keeps you going, one step at a time, until you've reached everything you were meant to achieve. There are moments in life when it feels as though the world has stacked everything against you. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving forward, while you're stuck, trapped in a cycle of setbacks, disappointments, and heart attacks. It's easy to believe that the road ahead is too difficult, too dark, too uncertain. You may find yourself questioning why you even bother trying. But here's what I want you to understand: you are still standing. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. It's a sign that there is something in you that refuses to be defeated, no matter how many times life tries to knock you down. You may not always see it in yourself. You may not always feel it in your heart. But the fact that you are still here, still fighting, still moving forward is proof of the strength that resides within you. And that strength, that power, is more than enough to carry you through whatever comes your way. It's not about how much you can endure without breaking. It's about how you keep going, even when everything inside of you wants to give up. It's about showing up even when you're afraid. It's about pushing through the discomfort, the uncertainty, the pain, and continuing to move forward with a fire in your heart that refuses to be extinguished. Sometimes the journey feels long. The waiting seems unbearable. The struggles feel endless, and it's hard to see any progress. You may even wonder if you've been forgotten, or if you're simply stuck in a season that will never end. But let me tell you something: you are never stuck unless you decide to be. You are never without hope unless you stop believing that change is possible. The power to change your situation lies within you. It may take time. It may require patience. It may ask you to walk through some of the toughest days of your life, but it will not break you. You are stronger than you think. The fact that you are still standing today is evidence of that. You've been knocked down, yes, but every time you got back up, you grew stronger, you grew wiser, you grew more resilient. The battles you fought, the wounds you've healed, the obstacles you've overcome have all been shaping you into the person you are today. You might not see it now, but there is a version of you emerging stronger, bolder, and more capable than ever before. The road may be difficult, but every step you take, even the painful ones, is moving you closer to the person you are becoming. You are not the same person you were yesterday. You are evolving, growing, and becoming someone who can handle whatever life throws at you. You have to understand that life is not just about the destination. It's not just about reaching a goal or achieving success. It's about the journey. It's about the lessons learned in the struggle, the wisdom gained from the trials, and the strength that is forged in the fire of adversity. You don't become the person you were meant to be by taking the easy route. You don't build resilience by living a life free of challenges. You build resilience by facing those challenges head on, by learning how to adapt, how to grow, how to keep moving forward when everything inside of you tells you to quit. There's a story unfolding in your life, a story that is far from finished. You may not be able to see the whole picture right now, but just because you don't see the end doesn't mean it's not there. Just because the road is unclear doesn't mean you are lost. You are exactly where you need to be. Every setback, every hardship, every moment of doubt is part of the process. And in the end, it will all come together. You will look back on these days and realize that they were the very things that built the foundation for your future. The pain you've experienced will become the fuel that propels you toward your destiny. The struggles will be the things that make you appreciate the victories even more. It's all part of your story, and your story is far from over. It's so easy to look at what you don't have, to focus on what you've lost, to compare yourself to others and wonder why their lives seem so much easier than yours. But you have to stop doing that. You have to stop measuring your worth by someone else's success. You are on your own unique path, and it is not meant to look like anyone else's. Your journey is yours alone, and it is filled with purpose. The things you've gone through, the pain you've experienced, the battles you've fought, are all a part of the blueprint for your life. You may not understand it now, but one day you will. And when you do, you'll see that every hardship you faced has been leading you to something greater. I need you to stop doubting your worth. Stop questioning your ability to succeed. Stop telling yourself that you're not good enough, not strong enough, or not capable of achieving everything you dream of. The truth is, you are more than enough. You are stronger than you realize. You are more capable than you give yourself credit for. Everything you need to succeed is already inside of you. It may not always feel that way. You may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and unsure of your next step. But even in those moments, your strength is still there. It's just waiting for you to tap into it. It's waiting for you to remember that you have what it takes to get through anything, to conquer anything, to achieve everything you've set your heart on. You are not defined by your struggles. You are not defined by the things that have gone wrong. You are defined by your resilience. You are defined by your courage to keep moving forward. You are defined by your willingness to rise, to start over, to keep going even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. You are defined by your heart, your strength, and your unbreakable will. And there is nothing in this world that can take that away from you. The battles you faced have not been in vain. They've been preparing you for something greater. The strength you've built in the fire of adversity will carry you to new heights. You've been through a lot, but you've come out stronger on the other side. And you will continue to grow stronger with every step you take. Don't ever forget that you are capable of more than you realize. Keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, and keep trusting the process. The best is yet to come. Sometimes it feels like life is just too much, doesn't it? The pressure mounts and it feels like every direction you turn, you're being pulled in 1,000 different ways. You question your worth, you question your path, and there are moments when you wonder if you'll ever make it to the other side. It's easy to think that maybe the dreams you had for your life were too big, too bold, too impossible. But here you are. You're still standing. And that's a victory in itself. The truth is, you have more strength than you realize. Right now, you might feel weak or defeated, but the fact that you're still here, still pressing forward, tells me everything I need to know about you. Life will hit you hard. You will face disappointments. People will let you down. Things won't always go your way. But you have the capacity to rise above. You've proven it time and time again, even when you didn't recognize it in yourself. Every time you thought you couldn't go on, you kept going. Every time you fell, you found the courage to get back up. That's the kind of strength that cannot be measured by your circumstances. It's a strength that is built in the quiet moments when no one else is watching, when you're fighting battles that no one even knows about. It's a strength that is woven into the very fabric of who you are. It's easy to focus on what you've lost, what you've missed, or the things that didn't work out the way you hoped. Maybe you've lost friends, family, or opportunities that you thought would shape your future. Maybe you've walked through seasons of struggle, doubt, and fear. I know it's easy to ask. Why me? It's easy to question your path when things aren't going the way you imagined. But here's the thing, your path isn't over. This moment, this season of your life is not the end. This is just a chapter, and just because this chapter is hard doesn't mean it's your whole story. The pain you feel, the struggles you face, they are not permanent. They are the groundwork for the next level of your life. What if I told you that your setbacks are not a sign of your failure, but rather a part of your journey toward your greatness? The things that feel like obstacles now are the very things that will make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You might be walking through fire right now, but fire refines, it purifies, it shapes. Every challenge you face is chiseling you into the person you need to become. You might not understand it in this moment, but one day you will look back on this season and see how it prepared you for the greatness that lies ahead. You might feel like you've been knocked down, but let me remind you, every time you get up, you grow. Every time you rise from the ashes, you become more powerful than before. The struggle is not your enemy, the struggle is your teacher. The struggle is the very thing that will help you reach heights you never thought possible. You have to start seeing yourself differently. You are not defined by your failures. You are not defined by your pain. You are not defined by the things that haven't worked out. You are defined by your ability to keep going. You are defined by your resilience. You are defined by your courage to face each day, to get up after every fall, and to keep moving forward despite everything that's trying to hold you back. Your identity is not wrapped up in what happens to you, but in how you respond to what happens. You have the power to choose how you will face your challenges. You can choose to let them break you, or you can choose to let them build you. The pain you've experienced, the tears you've cried, they have not been wasted. They are the seeds that are planting your future. I know it might not feel like it right now. In fact, right now it might feel like there's no end in sight. But the very thing you think is taking you down is actually positioning you for something greater. Every setback you've faced has been an opportunity for growth. Every heartache you've endured has made you more compassionate. Every struggle has prepared you for the next chapter of your life. You may not have seen it coming, but these challenges are not random. They are part of the plan. And though you may not understand the plan in its entirety, I promise you that it's working for your good. What I want you to understand is that your life isn't defined by what you've lost or by what you've been through. It's defined by your ability to keep moving forward, to rise again after every fall, to push past the limits that life has set for you. It's easy to get caught up in what hasn't happened, in what's still missing, in the opportunities that slip through your fingers. But what you need to understand is that there is still time. There is still opportunity. The door is not closed, and the best part of your life has not passed you by. You are still here, and that means you are still capable of great things. There's something powerful about the ability to reset. No matter how many times you've stumbled, you can always rise again. No matter how many times you've failed, you can always try again. It's never too late. You can reset your life at any point, at any age, in any season. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to let your past dictate your future. The power to reset is always within you. The strength to start over, to make a new decision, to turn the page and start a new chapter, that power is yours. It's always been yours. The future is still ahead of you, and the opportunities you've been waiting for are still coming. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly how everything will work out. All you need to do is take one step, one decision, one moment of courage, and keep moving forward, trusting that with each step, you are moving closer to the life you were meant to live. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about the growth, the strength, and the wisdom you gain along the way. You have everything you need to succeed. You just need to believe in it. The truth is, the best version of yourself is waiting for you on the other side of this struggle. The greatest victories of your life are waiting for you just beyond this season. But in order to reach them, you have to keep moving forward. You have to believe in the power of the reset, the power of the restart, the power of the next chapter, the power to shape your future, to write your own story, to rise above your circumstances. That power is within you. And as long as you are still standing, there is nothing that can stop you from becoming everything you were always meant to be.